I'm an idiot. If you're a landscape contractor and you don't want to tear up your customer's yard digging up stuff with a skid steer, and that will tear up a yard. It has less of an impact, I would say, than a zero-turn mower. Folks, today on the Stoney Ridge Farm channel, I'm using more implements than I've ever used in any video. Today's gonna be awesome. We're using the cast loader today, and we're gonna see if it's farm tough. Woo! Stoney Ridge. Farm, Stoney Ridge. Stoney Ridge Farm. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm channel. Today, as you can see, we've got some cool stuff going on. So today we're gonna be trying a new machine. I guess it's fairly new. It's been on the farm for, I'm gonna say about 5 months now. And I haven't done a whole heck of a lot with it, I'll be honest with you. I've moved some material, moved a little bit of dirt, and I've moved some gravel with this thing. This is called a cast loader. What we're gonna do is compare the skid steer, which you've seen many, many times. This is Peanut, the skid steer, and that's the mowing deck from Tri-L and Precision Manufacturing, and that is a bucket from Tri-L and Precision Manufacturing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna work this cast loader. So typically the attachments that I use on the farm, I'm putting on the skid steer. The skid steer is great, it's awesome, it's rough, it's tumble, it's super cool. However, those tracks right there, let me show you this way, those tracks will tear up your yard big time. They'll tear up your pastures, tear up your yard, anything that they move on, because the skid steer turns a little bit different than the cast loader. So without further ado, let's get busy. We're going to talk about it. We're going to walk around each machine and we're going to show you the difference in the skid steer versus the cast loader, and hopefully we're going to mow with this thing. So stick around to the end. I think it's going to mow, and I think it's going to do a great job. Fingers crossed, let's get busy. Hit the Bronco. All right guys, welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm channel. If this is your first time or your 50 millionth time, hit that like button, subscribe. I'd love to have you back here. I really mean it, I promise. I mean it, click, click, it's all it takes. Okay, cool. Here's what we got. We have Peanut, the little Gale RT210 skid steer. Awesome machine, I believe it's around 61 horsepower. On this machine is the Tri-L and Precision Manufacturing mowing deck. You saw it in a past video. Gosh, how long ago was that? Maybe a week ago, a week and a half ago. This is the cast loader. I know you saw this about a week ago, loading up the manure spreader. So awesome, awesome machine for moving materials on ground that's a little more level. This is rough and tumble. This is for, I guess, pastures, for saving your grass, for working in the gravel lot. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna be moving dirt. Well, today and tomorrow. We're gonna be moving some dirt, we're gonna be moving some water tanks, we're gonna be cleaning up and throwing some stuff in the dumpster. We're gonna put all sorts of different implements on here. We may even get the grapple on here and move some logs around. So I'm gonna walk you around each piece of machinery and tell you about the goods and the not so goods. So again, you've seen this machine on the farm. This is your first time here, you've never seen it, but this is a Gale RT210. I believe it's around 61 horsepower. This is a low flow hydraulic machine. This is called a Bigfoot cutter. The Bigfoot cutter is from Tri-L and Precision Manufacturing, right out of Missouri, made in America. I love it, awesome stuff. This thing kicked butt. We cleaned up the forest not too long ago. We'll get you a little bit of footage of forest cleanup. Now, I have yet to hook this onto the front of the cast loader, and the cast loader has hydraulic hookups up there, so stay tuned for that. This is a smooth bucket from Tri-L Manufacturing. I'll post links to all these critters. This video is brought to you in part by our friends at Tri-L Manufacturing and Precision Manufacturing out there in Missouri. Pretty country out there. So what we have here is an open station skid loader, skid steer. This skid steer has a pretty cool system on it. This is called Ideal Tracks. Ideal Tracks saves you from having to pump grease into your skid steer to keep your tracks tensioned appropriately. How many of you guys have ever ridden a skid steer, driven a skid steer, and or lost a track on a skid steer? Where do you lose it? It ain't in the gravel lot. It's in a mud hole, it's on some logs, it's in some rocks, it's in a bad place. Ideal Tracks keeps them properly tensioned, and when you turn the machine off, it loosens tension, thus making your tracks last longer. Gale is not a sponsor of the channel. That is a cool machine. I like it. As we walk around the back of this machine, we have a Yanmar diesel engine. Let's just pop the hood. Right in there's a Yanmar diesel engine. Right here, tells you exactly how many horsepower. Our T210 is a 71 horsepower machine. Awesome stuff. Hydraulics, battery, everything's in there. Great machine. I don't need to tell you guys about a skid steer. This is a 2-speed machine, meaning it has high and low. This is a 2-speed machine. So let's walk around the cast loader. I'm going really simple here, guys. Really simple. So the cast loader has a 57 horsepower, I do believe. Yep, 57 horsepower, dual speed. In other words, this has a high and low too. This is slower than that, big time. This is more comfy. This has a cab. Ask me how to bust a window out of the cast loader. Right there, bump the tire. This articulates in the middle, meaning the wheels don't turn, the whole thing turns. Okay, it's an articulating mini loader basically. This is called the Maxo. It's the 57 horsepower cast loader, and this has a Kohler diesel engine in it. Great old big robust bumper on the back. I believe you can get some hitches and stuff to put on the back of this. Weights you can also put on there. We've got lights on the rear, lights on the front, just like the skid steer. The difference in this versus the skid steer is we have an extendable hydraulic boom. So not only will it move and dump, this track system and this cylinder right here extends this hydraulic boom. So you can take a cast loader and load a tandem dump truck with it. That is important if you're working on a gravel lot or something like that. This cast loader, I'll post a link to the website where you can pick those up. Great machine, super happy with it so far. I've used it around, but I haven't done a full-on video review. So let's hop in the cast loader. Well, let's walk around it real quick and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the features. We got a little latch here for our hood. I have not had the hood up on this thing yet. We've got a lot of breathers. We've got an air conditioning system in here, and this is our fuel tank. The only gripe that I have about the cast loader is probably an American gripe. The fuel tank on it is smaller than the fuel tank on this machine. So that's the only downside that I've seen. The fuel tank is just a little bit smaller. I'd rather fill it up every 2 days, every 3 days, but I believe it's set up to run 8 hours on a tank of fuel. We may run 8 hours on this video, so it won't be 8 hours long, no, I promise you that. So the cast loader has windows. Let's just hop in here. We're gonna fire this puppy up and get the air conditioning going. And we might back off of the skid steer a little bit. The hydraulics are settling on it. Okay, as we open the cab, very robust door, crisp, super crisp. Check it out. You got a handle right here. You got lights up here, again, front and rear work lights. Very cool. I'll grab my handle. I'll swing my butt all the way in here, put my foot in, and right there we go. I am in shorts. It's hot. It's North Carolina. Key on. Hear the fuel pump. Air conditioner's on. Turn that off. Fire it up. Good deal. Got several controls over here. Simple enough. All of your controls are listed right here, so if you're confused on where these go or what these do, it's all right there for you. Hydraulic system right here. We've got 40 liters a minute or 20 liters a minute, front and rear. I don't know a heck of a lot about that. We've got the park, we've got slow and fast for 2-speed. Here's our light controls, here's our throttle. And here is our air conditioning, which is important today. Crank that dude up. Good to go. Okay, so we've got air conditioned vents right here, and we also have vents for defogging the window. So the cast loader is from TNE Distributing. It's not my machine. This is a borrowed machine. Big shout out to those guys. Again, I'll post a link down the video description for you guys if you want to check one out. We're gonna back off. Really simple. We got a loader handle just like any other tractor. Okay, you can see raise and lower. We're gonna get away from the skid steer for a minute. Now you can see there's a perfect demonstration of how it articulates. As I'm turning the wheel, the whole tractor is moving, right? And you can see the wheel down there moving. If you leave this door open, you run a risk of busting the glass. Ask me how I know. This has the little ball on the steering wheel right there. Pretty cool machine. We'll give it a little more RPM. All right, so we're gonna back on up. The whole rear end of this machine is right there, guys. Isn't that weird? It's really, really weird. We're gonna pull forward. It's hydrostatic, so you have a forward and a reverse, and that's all you do. You just hit a button with your foot. Very cool. Let's bring this guy down. There we go. So we got wipers. Bam. We got washers too. Right there's the squirt button for the washers. cool. Shut that guy down. We do not have a rear washer, but this is a rounded window in the rear, so pretty interesting. You do have an escape route in case you get tipped over on that side. You can bust the glass out. I think there's a glass breaker in here somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, right there. Seatbelt cutter and glass breaker. And you can also pull this pin right here and release the window and push it out, so you can go out the window in case it tips over. Now, I'm gonna let this thing warm up just a little bit, and we're gonna step out and talk about it. You need to know a few things about a cast loader. A cast loader is different than a skid steer and a tractor. Since it articulates in the middle and you've got a really heavy load, if you have the boom extended and a really heavy load, it can get extremely tipsy when you turn. So you want to be very, very careful when you turn this thing. You can turn it over. So you got to be careful. That's something that my buddy Dan from Tools in Action knows all about. Right, Dan? I think maybe Dan's buddy did this. You need to know how to operate machinery if you're running this machine, so take your time and learn it. That's what I've been doing over the last few months, is just using it around the farm and learning it. We are gonna hook up the Bigfoot cutter, so stay tuned for that. First thing we gotta do is we're gonna load up some water tanks down here, and we're gonna take them to the other side of the farm to a storage area that I have. I'm gonna show you just how fast this thing moves. You're gonna get a full-on demo, so stick around to the end of this. You're gonna use all sorts of implements, grapples, anything and everything that we can use on the farm. We're gonna be hooking it up to the cast loader. So we're always moving material on the farm. I want to show you something really cool that's super important. This thing turns on a dime. Watch this. It's really cool. A turning radius. You see that? It just goes right around in circles. If you've got a tree this big around, this thing will just make circles around it. And it doesn't tear the ground up. Check it out. You can hardly even tell where we were. The ground is not torn up at all. Isn't that cool? That's something that's super special about the cast loader, especially when you have pastures you want to take good care of, or you're working in a yard, or if you're a landscape contractor and you don't want to tear up your customer's yard digging up stuff with a skid steer, and that will tear up a yard. So saves money in repairs after you destroy somebody's place. In other words, if you're on a skid steer, you're tearing somebody's place up. You're on this, you're not. It's like a lawnmower. It has less of an impact, I would say, than a zero-turn mower. Guess who's got to climb in the dumpster? This guy. Bro, you're supposed to go in there. The camera's way down in there. Ugh. Get back here. What are you doing down there? So we're out here at a gravel pile. I had this gravel pile dumped here probably 6 months ago. It's right there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna scoop up this gravel. Like I said, this is much faster and tears up much less ground, so I won't tear up this little gravel turnaround spot right here. And I've gotta load the gravel up, take it down the road to a little spot where we did our little donut back there just a few minutes ago. There needs to be some rock right there because it's gonna get really, really muddy. Part of farming is planting. It's going to get muddy in the wintertime. It's the wet season. It's coming, so we got to get some rock on that so we don't get stuck in the tractor and make a mess, make trenches, make ditches, make ruts. Let's fix it. I learned a valuable lesson yesterday. About the time it got dark, my fuel light came on this thing, meaning it needed to be refueled. Well, me being the guy I am wanting to finish the job, like most of you folks probably would be, I went on and made 2 more runs with gravel. By the time I got back up to the gravel pile, after 2 more runs, which is like 15 minutes now, granted, maybe 20 minutes, it hiccuped and was running out of fuel. I had to shut it down real quick and I had to walk home. So lesson learned there. It has a very, very small fuel tank. I don't know exactly how many gallons it is. It's in liters. I'm sure it's in liters. I think this thing is made in France, I do believe. I will post it right down there. So we're gonna fuel up real quick. I'm gonna drop the bucket. I've got a few things I need to clean up here with the pallet forks, and we need to run and grab that wood splitter. I'm sure it'll pick it up. I am going to veto the dirt moving job for today. Let me fuel it up and talk to you about it. So the dirt moving job that I have is on a hillside. This thing doesn't have very much give, play, and or suspension, and the problem is it's tipsy when it's on a hill. I don't want to fill a bucket full of dirt, lift it up 6 feet in the air, and get tipsy. I just don't want to do that. I think I need the weight kit on the back of this in order to haul really, really heavy loads on uneven ground. And that's just the nature of an articulating loader that's this small. If this thing was huge, like a gigantic Caterpillar loader, I don't think I'd have that problem at all. It just needs a little more weight in the back. We're gonna fuel up, hook up to the pallet forks, then we're gonna hook to the mower, and then we're gonna try the limb saw, which you guys have seen me use in the past. We got a tree down that's blocking the trail, and I've got to get through this trail so I can enjoy the backside of my farm. That's it, not very much fuel. Skid steer quick attach. Fits a standard skid steer, and it also fits mini skid steer. Pretty tight fit here. Got to figure this one out. Yeah. Good gracious. now and you're scratching your head, what in the heck is this? This is called limb saw. Guys, you've seen it on the channel before. This is a chainsaw that mounts to any loader system. So skid steer, tractor, anything like that, for clearing brush basically on the edges of pastures, limbing up trees and stuff, reaching up way high. It's a chainsaw that is lubricated with the hydraulic system of the machine you hook it to. Really, really cool setup. We're gonna take the limb saw out and put it on the full extension right here. This is the awesome setup we've got. So let's plug it out, plug it in, and head over there. We got a log across the trail. That's why we did that mowing over there with the cutter. What'd you think of that? Cutter did great, I think. I think it did awesome. I think this could be an awesome little mowing machine. I've learned about the cast loader, and we'll tell you here at the end what I've learned. It is farm tough, that's for sure. There it goes. Limb saw. How heavy is this? Ooh. 60 pounds, 40 pounds? Yeah, 40 pounds. Oh, get in there, son. Ugh. There you go, big boy. Thank you. Bam! Guess who forgot to turn his camera on the last two cuts? Daggone it. So this log was across the trail right here. I've got a 25-acre section of land over here that I couldn't access because this trail's been blocked. It's got a lot of poison ivy, and the limb saw kept me from having to get into the poison ivy. I've still got to push all this stuff out of the way, but I think we've seen the capabilities of this machine on a farm. It does fantastic. I will say this, it is tipsy and it performs much better on a very flat surface. So if you're out doing pasture work, I say definitely an A+. If you're working in the equipment yard, definitely an A+. If you're trimming trees around the edge of the pasture, it does great. It handled that mower just fine. Handling dirt and heavy material, I would definitely order a weight kit for this thing. Again, guys, this is called the limb saw. I'll post a link down the video description to every tool we use today. Special thanks to our friends at Limb Saw, our friends at Cast Loader who loaned us this machine, Tri-L and Precision Manufacturing. I can't say enough. I can't thank those guys enough. This was fun. This is the most implements I've ever done in any video. And let me tell you what, this was a chore too. 2 days in, ran out of fuel, didn't break anything. Didn't break anything, woohoo! Guys, thanks a lot. Hit that like button. We'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm channel. If you want to see more stuff like this, let me know. Post comments. A lot of these videos I make for you guys are suggested by you guys. So please jump in, tell me what you want to see here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. I'd love to do it for you. Take care. See you next time. Come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge. Give me some RPM. I like them RPMs. Woo hoo hoo. Them RPM, they made that thing go, baby. Woo! Hey, Castelloda. Castelloda. Hey, Castelloda. Why, oh, why? It's about to rain. It's gonna mess up my day. Hey.